I'm not sure where to start. It almost feels impossible. The past meets with the present, fighting for space. Demanding attention, to be heard, to be seen. A lifetime worth of memories. Remembered through my eyes. Depending on where we're at in life, our perception of a memory changes. How do you know which version is the truth? I used to think I knew exactly who you were. The idea of you captured perfectly in my mind. I told myself you had your own ways of showing you cared. Ways I didn't understand until I was much older. Despite our best efforts, life is unpredictable. Doesn't care who you are, what you're doing, or what you have planned. Things begin, and sometimes, when you least expect it, things end. It's hard not to think about how time has changed the memory of you. How it will continue to change, to shift, until I'm left with a version I've created in my head. Everything still looks the same. I can't tell if that's comforting or not. I don't like looking at the front porch and not seeing you there. You came here to relax, to catch your breath, to be at peace. Maybe if I stay a little longer, I'll feel it too. We all went hiking sometimes. You packed the lunch, Dad mapped the trail. I was in charge of pointing out all the good rocks and trees. But I wanted to wander and see where the trees took me. I can see why you liked being outside, sitting here listening to the branches dance against the breeze, the smell of coffee brewing. Dad usually brought you a cup. The outdoors fed my curiosity. I called out shapes I saw in the clouds. I followed ants back to their home. I pulled up weeds thinking they were flowers and made crowns. Do we remember things differently? What story did your memories tell? This yard holds a lot of memories. Watching you pull weeds, spraying grass with the hose. I'd beg you to splash me with water during the summer and you'd sigh real big. But you would. Daydreaming became as normal as breathing. imagining made-up places and letting my mind wander. The big oak tree is where I thrived. I climbed it so many times my knees were always scratched up. And then one day I fell. I wasn't hurt, just scared. I ran to you for comfort, crying. You frowned and told me it was my fault for climbing too high. You watched me carefully for the next few days. Had Dad cut down weak branches. The restaurant called. It's easy to forget that the world keeps moving. Cleaning out the house shouldn't take long. How did I lose touch with what was important? How did you? I ask as if you'd have the answer. I'll never know. How do you choose what's most important? It all looks untouched, but I feel so different. Like a stranger that doesn't belong. Shoes off, slippers on. But I'd always forget. It was the first thing you'd ask me to do when we came home, like a ritual meant to be followed without question. Even now, I find it hard to remember. Was it calming? The ritual of it all? Every week, like clockwork, you had us dressed and on time. How do you know what to keep, what to get rid of? There are some things I can't let go. You tried to teach me about my culture from an early age, and sometimes it meant skipping out on time with friends. The food you ate, the language you spoke, they were parts of you that you felt needed to be passed on. We had color-coded dishes. Dad's rice bowl was blue, yours was pink, mine was yellow. You said I wasn't allowed up from the table until I learned how to use chopsticks. Workbooks were left unopened, and any attempt to speak in your native tongue was met by English. You tried so hard, and I didn't budge. Things had to be perfect. Unlike people, glass can be polished, spaces can be controlled the way we like. Eventually, we stopped speaking Japanese in the house. It didn't bother me much when I was young. I never considered what that loss meant to you. You had the piano since before I was born. You taught yourself to play as a kid, but fell out of it with age. When I started showing interest, you began to give me lessons. It became hard to separate your wants from my own, my hobbies and yours. I didn't even know what I wanted. It was safer to listen. I don't remember much from that day. Maybe that's on purpose. I was pulled to shore, coughing, crying. Dad called for a lifeguard. You told me I should have listened. From then on, I told myself that if I stayed in line, I'd be safe. I could control my own actions, my behaviors. Things would be okay. For years and years, I've listened. Settled into what you tried to teach me. It became rhythmic, comforting. Back straight, arms taut, eyes straight ahead. There's comfort in safety, in routine. Relax your shoulders. Smile. Stop tapping your foot. The gift was thoughtful. It showed how proud you two were, and it eased my nerves about performing. I knew work kept you busy. I tried not to expect anything. The chances were slim, but I found myself hoping, desperate for you to show. But eventually, I had to go on without you. How could you not make the time? I don't know. I never asked. Maybe some things are better left alone. Why did I come here? There's so much I've forgotten, all for good reason. I'm here now. I made the time. I had to. There was no one else. If I didn't come here to sort through your things and pack up your life, who would? I've only got so much space.